Excuse me, sir.
Scanning audio.
మొత్తం కదిలిస్తావు అది ఇప్పుడు తీస్తే ఆడియో రాదు. ఇప్పుడు తీసుకెళ్తావు నీకు ఆడియో రాదు. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్. ఇక్కడ చేయలేదు దీంతో.
and Professor Nagabhushanam Raju Garu, Founder Director Atal Incubation Center, Sri Krishna Devaraya University and Sri City, and Priya Gazdar, Director and CEO of RBC Worldwide, and also Chairperson of Wikiflow Hyderabad. With this, I would...
So what we thought, countries like India, still more than 60 to 70% of agricultural activities and all that, and all the ecosystem in every village, barber community used to be there, people used to be there. Today, I constructed some temples in my village. You see the ecosystem, all of them, they left the villages and they've gone to the cities and urban towns and all that. So when I spent a lot of money thinking that I'll be able to do a successful organic farming, but we took the company public in... come, Srini Raju, come. Srini, please come. And started Portal Player. We took the company public, NASDAQ, and sold it to NVIDIA. Then second, stock exchange. And the third company, which is agriculture company, I miserably failed. Then now I started donating those land things. You have to depend on the... Earlier we used to get labor from other states. So it seems there also government started giving incentives. Younger to me, he had only one son. He still has. But 15 years back, do some agriculture BSc, he'll be better off than going to any engineering colleges to do it. He wants to become an agri-entrepreneur, and his parents wants to get him married. And finally, I had to request one of my friends who started Jama Botanics, if he's here, Mahesh, went back to the urban areas and all that. With that, what is happening in the villages, all kinds of, maybe another 5-10 years and all that. I don't think, whatever we are calling as demographic dividend for the country and all that, you just imagine 10 years fast forward. Recently, that kind of revolution may come from the rural India, and some thousands of people or lakhs of people, they come and do, whatever this thing, whatever we have, they will take away, because for only rural, urban, there will be proper connect will be there. Then whole country will be a sustainable and successful. Then automatically they will start looking at. So that was the idea. We created K.S. Raju Garu also. You must have attended many. I have not attended, but I don't know what happens in the Davos. Rural Economic Forum is more important than the World Economic Forum. If we can create a Rural Economic Forum, all the worlds are properly designed and all that, then we can take it to the next state or next country, so that this can be replicated in other places as a headquarters for India, so that other countries, if they say that REF is going to happen in one of the G20 countries, we lose that opportunity through this economic activity. So that's where, I request all of you, whoever sitting in the audience also, this is a round table, sustainable, doable model, so that our government of India also will see that, yes, it is doable, officer. So this pilot was given to only one company called Texas Instruments in Bangalore. Then the committee of secretaries, they were asking me, the last person to come, I'll ask him to give his thought process to start.
Gone here, as you said that, I've known him from 1992. And how he has helped shape first Bangalore and then Hyderabad. Just say India means everything, isn't it? I'm just only to make a point, I'm saying it. The Bharat is that 1.2 billion people who make less than 15,000 rupees to Anandapur. And we all come from the first generation people. His father was a teacher, but my father was a 3 acres farmer. 3 acres my father had when he started. He's a very rich man. Somebody who has 1,000, they were considered to be jamindars. Now, let us compare which is agrarian. We kept them poor by keeping the food prices low. Every pension to a family in Andhra Pradesh, first thing they do is they have to pay 300 rupees population poor. That's the reality of it. So we keep talking with the lawmakers saying that why people have to pay so, the urban consumers have to pay a little bit more to the food. By the way, this is not only India, most higher income, we do the food processing units, we do this, we do that. Some people realistic about what is feasible, what is not feasible, and see then then we try to find the solution for their business people, the well-educated people find solution for themselves. It is the middle hard work of Mr. Chaudhary and all of them, $200 billion exports. Every month we send it to China. We import everything, probably if you think, and Mr. Chaudhary knows that I have funded another thing called Sri City, those of you who would have heard it. So we have data, what works, what doesn't work for these kind of things. Already invested there in CapEx. We can't move it. But if you make CapEx, we'll move operations. So these are people in charge of it. And ask them why it is not happening. What is that we need to do to make it happen? Finally, with PLI scheme, we have semiconductor goods can be done in towns and all of them. They don't have to be here in Hyderabad and Bangalore kind of thing. They can be done little away kind of thing because they don't mind. There is a structural problem. When the Indian economy is few $1 billion, we had one secretary to one additional secretary, two same people. Where do they have time? They're all very busy with their work. Half the time they get called by the bosses and things. He gave an example. They focused on saying, I want to make the IT work in this country. They said, and all of them, it has happened. And I have seen myself, few of them. We suggest to the government that cell phone manufacturing is not happening in this country. You know why it is? We use a wrong word called manufacturing. It is actually assembly. No manufacturings there. They bring to India, do little, assembly. But it all requires the focus.
Srini, uplifting the rural economy in the next 2 years, suppose we have to focus, as you rightly mentioned, KPMG team to have you have brought your team also. So they are going to actually put all those which can be implemented and show the results. Once we show the results, probably everybody, with your vast experience in Sri City, one or two low-hanging fruits experience. Anyway, Dr. Nimagada Ravishankar from New Jersey, rural development, rural innovation, rural startups. So I attached him success, low-hanging fruits. Ravi.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me. So lack of engagement in terms of identifying the problems can be of international domain problems. So Raju Garu said that some of the manufacturing and some of the larger opportunities, if we can approach it from a children, government was not doing all this. These were all done by the cooperatives. The youngsters don't have the same kind of factional issues that had in the transitional times. There are a lot of things that are possible. The good and bad news is a lot of these organizations, they have seen the processes, they have seen the metrics, they have seen the productivity. If we can apply, and the problems that we can identify can be varied in nature. They can be agricultural, they can be very basic. You can see that these are the problems. Because we are so conditioned to really looking at things in a
person who used to work in the Accenture in Bangalore, now he has returned back to his thanks to automation. A lot of people who went from villages to work. Do you think there is a possibility that we can bring them back to the villages and whatever Partha has done? And
I have interacted. The model is great. The effort has been phenomenal. The
network and able to survive and all that. So what Ravi is trying to, you're able to sustain and with the pride. Maybe that could be some model which
kind of constructs. Right, like the example for your nephew that you said that he was erecting the India that we want, the Bharat that we want. And there is a role that we all have to play in that process. And you have to change that narrative a little bit, get them to the next level. That little track change is what is really.
Yeah, if this reverse migration from cities to villages and take the products and process it and export whatever it is possible, if that is a working in the IT industry because Anantapur is closer to Bangalore, and if you can provide an alternate mechanism, they're getting not only.
In fact, it's a real news, the difference between Bharat and India. In fact, what we have been doing, in fact, Partha, the example, then Upanesanpalli is the village, very close to ESCI University. Told them then why can't he utilize the opportunity of networking his contacts I got Mr. Ravi is he's gone into a loop, kind of a software subroutine. And he's not, in fact, the very purpose, the business plan which I went to Niti Aayog some 6 years back in 2017, when they did 5 years, rural students towards entrepreneurship. And 5,000 faculty, workable. They thought at the end of the 6 rounds, and Sri Krishna Deva Raya University was the only state-funded university in the entire country. They are there living with day in and day out with problems. That's where the society problems are there. Problems are there in societies, in communities, in municipalities.
So that it's a low-hanging fruit. It's already happening. Maybe we have to give a little bit more, better structure, more mentors, and see that the big things in villages will start showing up, and this whatever the taboo, this thing, people not getting married because of they're staying, all that will become
effort for the rural folks to be able to solve. They don't need to learn COBOL, but they need to know how to use. The automation is eliminating jobs from the traditional corporate, which that we have in the villages, but bring light automation to be able to lift up the productivity from the agrarian community as a medium, as a tool to be able to do that. If we can combine these pieces together,
trying to do something. What do you think it is workable to help those for us to focus on northeastern states and create some opportunities for them in their own states instead of they travel?
Reverse learning is happening only when the bureaucrats in the top level, the policy makers, the regulator makers. I open to you, sir. Before I could say something today, I stand over here and share a dais with so much, because today not only I am helping myself, I am helping a lot of people to become pilots, and also with the mentoring of lying on the paper with black and white. This is not actually reaching the bandwidths, the actual people. So I have identified 22 organic agri products. Today, most of the agri products they use for themselves, and they just dump it and they go. College, the leadership qualities, because when I knocked at the Sriniraju sir's door, he has interviewed me, I still remember, for 30 minutes, and he said, I am there and make the difference. Today, policies are there, ecosystem is there, but the mentors are not there, and the mentor should be very, very focused. And the mentee was given, there was a mismatch, conflict of interest in these startups. So what I feel over here as an ISF, and all the fish comes from the Andhra, and it takes 5 days over there to reach. And the local people eat a lot of linkages and the capital capex. So now, in order to identify the first batch, automatically you will see, because today I come from Adil, and one day I receive a call saying that, Bida na koduku kuda pilot chestava ani. And today, that guy, 3 to 4 simulators where buy one, get one free comes for you. So there is a lot of, inside, if at all you, Sri City, I have one suggestion, sir, because as you are saying, there are 200 companies who are already manufacturing unit will definitely need a raw material or something. So if at all we can identify one to them, and they'll be supplying as a small agent, as a small vendor, the journey starts. You are creating it. You are seeding them. And then we need to kind of bring in a lot of awareness program, because when I was a kid, my dad is, and rural segment, 70% of the population comes from the rural segment. So right from the childhood, we've been seeded that. As a TEDx speaker, I go to the universities and I talk to the people. I say, don't think of doing a job for somebody.
ISF is doing only that.
Yes, sir. And in Northeast also, products where you can talk about ginger, you can talk about turmeric, and there's a lot of bamboo shoots over there.
From Northeastern point of view, what are your ideas which can be given to KPMG team? Whatever you suggested, I think is doable. Work with Srini offline and see how that experiment can be implemented. These were the things we thought about it, and we made it happen. Then they will get, we'll get the funding. So those are the two your action items. Start working on that.
Thank you, sir.
Because she has to go for another Infosys Foundation. Now we are looking at, for example, Infosys is going to lay off X number of people, maybe about 100 people, for example. No, not lay off. severance package. Normally, in the corporates, you have a severance package. Apart from the severance, of thousands of crores money sitting in the foundation. In addition to that severance package, can you also propose to make it money? You let us know. ISF will do the matching contribution for them, and we will be going back to the village and creating a new economy. Is that a possibility?
So, sir, I wouldn't take that. Thing is that from CSR money, we cannot do anything related to employee benefit. However, keeping that aside, I understand the essence of the question. So
you have to innovate there.
Yes, the good, and we've observed that there are 3 types of gaps we have. One is skill you can do. At least with now with the foundation, I have certain mechanically focusing on the rural, because typical tendency of CSR is that we would like to do it near our. Told us that most of the CSR happen in the backyard. It should happen away from your. Be done consciously. Efforts are made, and the awareness gap is the biggest one, sir, where we are trying to see how can we create role models, how do we budget is put in the budget for students is actually utilized, because students don't know there is so we are trying to do that. So we are trying to work on such gaps. So if when the KPMG report comes, and what are the gaps where we play, we call it working with the system and bringing in systemic change. Instead of doing my 1 rupee goes to one person, no, around that is whenever there is a they say that rural people, I actually ask this question to people, why are people poor? Because everybody can work. And Harvard, and he works in Bihar in the social sector. So I asked him this, that why is there a reason? Because work is, or anybody not well, that is when the whole family is brought down by 10 years. Yeah. Otherwise, hand to mouth, don't give money as for the livelihood or to every month, don't give. But when somebody dies in the family, give money, because that is when they need the money, and that's when they pulled back. So this nobody thinks about why are people poor and what.
Livelihood, rural livelihood programs, whatever you have, maybe you can share it with create more livelihood programs in the rural area. Infosys as a anchor for that. This one more request, Manisha. So I know that government all the rules. Srinirazu can Infosys Foundation. Don't go with your structured approach and all that. You are there for a certain period.
To wait for some.
Excellent, excellent session.
I would like to do that, sir.
Excellent session.
Yeah.
So light in the rural area.
The 2 people on stage says they are excellent.
I request Professor Siddharth, in your academic journey, you must have given us not a theoretical ideas, which are easily, practically possible for us to implement those things in the next 1 year.
You know, prior to that, I was, like normal for many of us, was a corporate animal, an academic, institution. Anybody who is, all of us are working with the output at that stage, at moldable stage. So whatever productivity, efficiency, the input stage is going to be a sea change in terms of the outcomes. You know, that's what brought me into, this. Share the a live experience that we are, which is exactly on the space that we are discussing. There are about 1,200 plus universities in India and 60,000 plus other colleges, which are not yet universities. Very interesting. Outside of some standalone institutions like TISS or XISS across the country. This talks of IITs, IIMs, and everywhere. Somewhere there's that, rather than, actually having centers that are only more for that. So, because largely entrepreneurship worldwide has been a somebody has to take and say this is to be there to talk about it. Now, when we did that, and I said, I have a program which is going to take not an entrepreneur with a venture, with 10 people being given livelihood, okay, besides she herself being an entrepreneur. Of moving fast and, breaking some rules. 2 weeks later, into the university account, they sent 5 micro entrepreneurs we are creating. These are rural women, These are too long back, I had worked when I was at Harvard to map entrepreneurial potential among, for them. Subsequently, we said, it has to happen parallelly for them. And 30 days later, the ventures got created. How did the venture got created? You were mentioning themes. The themes are created. You don't have idea, this is not never there on Amazon because I actually don't know how to even make my profile there. Okay? All of these end to end, it's not even counted the way she is. She's doing the cleaning, the filtering and all of that, not even added as the value chain. Environment around her, all of that is going to be so different. So we are seeing in the next batch, out of these 125, never on machineries. Because I said, those are your assets. As an entrepreneur, I taught you that you must own your assets. Only on the gaps of things like, not actionable, it's an actioned, ready-made template. Can policy-wise, out of your CSR, government think of social responsibility as corporate marketing responsibility, okay? Which means I give it to hockey where my name appears here. My sister, that little polymedia, if that experiment comes to us, next year I have 20 of these polymedias working with us. We will take it also, we are saying it should be something that gets created here. Make in India doesn't have to come from anywhere. India is there. We just have to make it at our home. So I think this program is called Aditri because Aditri is a... So actively, we can really, from Jay Chaudhary's education, we have all this model of there's learning, then thinking, and then acting. So mostly, so we just flipped it and said, acting, thinking, out of it. There's no theory out there. So I basically use these three things together and really go out there, really make this happen. Our student friend is thing. I said, I'm going to make one course which is going to be mandatory whoever is on my campus. PhD scholars, postdoc scholars, it is community engagement and social entrepreneurship. So we have created talked about how the rural or India got transformed because we used to have PCOs, right? So I call them that, they are something like that. So we created these two teams. One team primarily goes, there's a team that works on just pain point gathering. Then there are another team which are the Aditri and goes into this creating these micro entrepreneurs who will solve their own villages. I can't solve. My team of Aditri, this entire machinery, is just 6 people. Because the students exist. These students itself, at some point of time, then when the venture is created, are pro bono activity. And now you're telling them how you brand that honey for it to be selling at the right price. They were selling it as a commodity. So what I am saying is that we would really I'm happy to share as much insights that we are drawing from it.
What I suggest, we'll have a separate team, our ISF team and KPNG team will sit with you. I think you have a lot of given lot of tangible things which can go into the report also, and some of this will good, excellent. Thanks a lot.
So in fact, Sheshadri had put me on this the skill and employability this thing because many of my own ventures are in that space for the last 20 years. So, but I said, see, if I have a choice, I want to be in this forum because I want to talk about what we are doing.
Thank you.
Think this is what
Thank you for opting to be on our. Madam, now say, you are heading FICCI Flow. FICCI Flow, all women entrepreneurs, particularly FICCI Flow, to the rural women leaders. I know in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Dwakra women and self-help groups, they are doing lots of things. Can you provide a bridge between them and the FICCI area? They're growing, but not to whatever Ravi was telling, they're not able to go to the world level. They're doing something. They know the business model. How do we scale them up? Providing good mentors from FICCI Flow and see how, so that success breeds success. Can you do that? Yeah, it's on.
So to start with, thank you very much, and it's been so interesting. the scale is not something that we are able to match at this point of time because we are a fully voluntary organization of women. Though year on year we are trying to do something, sometimes what happens...
Where there is a will, there is a way, madam.
So that's what I'm coming to. I will start with some use cases. So in the last 6 months, what I have seen, we wanted to upskill some farmers. If men by default are part of that group or something, then yes, we are not so agnostic about it. Seed company and said, can you skill 100 women farmers in modern vegetable farming techniques? They said, yes, we can help you. And we were ready to fund whatever it took and do one-on-one. Okay, so we started going to villages, we started going to the headmen in the village. Two women came up to us and said, see, we know some amount of farming, we don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, you must be talking about something further than this for us. So we said, you know what? The real USP is we are training you to be trainers. Late 20s or something. That caught their imagination. And from there, the value in that I am going to be training somebody else, and this could be a continuous, chain of learning and earning. I have seen people not. We have a resort in the, near Siddipet area, and I have maybe a roadside, and they just move some, some slabs of stone from here to there. Then they're given tea, then they're given lunch, then other women, and then this can be a continuous process. They were now unhindered. That project is going on, and we'll have a first product showcase on October 21st and 22nd. We will continue to do it. There are so many stories like that. We work with Weaver clusters in Siddipet, livery, which is plain cloth. So the men folk are only giving them that, and the women are very unhappy.
If you get us an opportunity to address all your FICCI Flow members, me, Professor, and ideas, and how your members can, it's kind of helping the society.
And this is pan-India, it's not just...
Their counterparts in the rural area, how you can empower them with a little bit of mentoring, enablement, and helping.
Definitely, I was just telling...
Back, Ravi, 10 years back, when we were doing some, when I was, I think, Thai president sessions that you can think, will be useful for REF to take it to the next level.
Absolutely international, because I come from Silicon Valley. So really glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I think you talked about the 1.2 billion people that we need to include, because I believe, and in fact, as I was listening to everybody, the entrepreneurial word itself has the five. So that prerana exists in every Indian across the country, having born here and having lived in Silicon. So our role is really to bring it out. So in terms of a framework, I was thinking of two that everybody talked about. I think there should be a movement called Return to Roots. Let's create a Return to Roots movement. And I know of cases where people went back to their roots, which is a framework which I'm calling it SMART, because we are at a startup festival. We want to come out and tour. So that makes my life so joyful, because that's what I made as my life's calling. So M stands for mentor. Have a vision called Viksit Bharat 2047. In fact, I'm visiting India to actually work on that, and on independence within India. I see so many retired professionals. I'm an IIT alumni, did my PhD in Michigan, and there are so many 1.2 million people, 1.2 billion people. So Amritkal Mentors, I invite you all to sign up. It is essentially what every started, so I would be happy to expand on it, because that prerana exists. We just have to unleash it. And the prerana, and India as a nation is entrepreneurial. We went through so many setbacks, occupations, colonialism, but entrepreneurial. Indians are entrepreneurial. The word rural exists in entrepreneurial. Let's all come together and for mentorship, think profitability from day one. At least keep that in mind. So really, ensure.
Came up as a result of the prerana that you talked about, that we have seen Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Science, Indian Institute of, just you said, the economics, the kind of numbers, the metrics, everything is different in those countries. We have a big average income levels or the poverty levels are very different. So we need to have our own model, and that model can be Institute of Development.
Maybe that goes into the recommendation.
In fact, one comment if I can make, even CSR is a Western concept. Let's create a new one because India is not short of money. So we should learn from the West. That's why in my last week's keynote I said, modernize India.
If the people who wants to, Piyush, anybody can give a mic?
All the esteemed panel members. It's an honor to, sir, first of all, thanks a lot for making this a roundtable and not just a panel discussion. And this is...
He's a managing partner for 2 states, and we requested him to help, and he's helping because...
this is based in Tier 3 city. We have 230 plus startups, and these are the registered private limited companies from the students. Since your last visit, there is one startup, which is the second year BBA. They just entered into second year BBA student. More interesting is that when we are talking about 72 lakhs of GMV per month, how they are making an products are completely sourced from the villages around the university. 72 lakhs. So of the mother's hand. So the produce, the raw materials are sourced from the farmers. When we talk about chips, right, we don't have materials. So that is how they are empowering them. And when we talk about 72 lakhs, and we are working on across all the domain, health tech, fintech, assistive technologies for the Divyangjan. And these are all done by the students who are coming from the rural area.
Piyush, who is part of the recommendations which is already being done. So offline you work with entrepreneurship model.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Any other such suggestions or yeah, give the mic to them.
Since we are all talking about the low-hanging fruit, the point that I have might be...
What's your name and your organization?
Okay, I am Lokeshwari, support artisans. So in every part of... We are talking about the 2 Telugu states that we have. If I have seen artisans there, they'll make Pochampalli designs and we have KPMG here, Infosys here, and Diwali is anyway coming up. So if we can make corporate gifting only, she makes diaries and all that. Even ESCI have similar stuff, if I'm not wrong.
You can get all the information to us, then we'll reach out to all the corporate and with ISF, we'll reach out to them. They can select any one of them for their this thing, details.
Yes.
Then maybe one of our ISF volunteers, maybe Bipin, you take the BIP, we can start from there.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, one more point I have, sir. So they provide machinery, but as far as I know, about one napkins making machines to the rural people area. And one problem that I found personally in my locality, government has a platform, digital platform
so,
where ONDC.
And that I suggest you work with now will be solved.
Yes,
next,
yes.
Who is next?
Good morning, sir. 1 lakh students we are producing every year of pharmacy and all branches. So just now I got some idea.
I think instead of reinventing, use the whatever they already, maybe last 2 questions.
Hi, I'm Shweta Raina. I worked at McKinsey, New York, and then I was on the startup upskilling. But I'm actually here in my capacity as the president for Association of Business Women in Commerce and Industry. Collaborate interstate because, I'm really impressed. And I think this is not just for startups, but even the work you're doing. So I'm not looking for an immediate answer, but would really love to collaborate between Maharashtra and as a female business leader, I would love to support this initiative in whatever way possible.
Sure, make it. Okay, 2 last questions. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Madan, having a lot of fun. I mean, rather disposed really work on this. And, Srini Raju, he is a strategist by himself in setting up all these things in order. Then, because most of the entrepreneurs, as you know well, get stuck at...
Just behind you, Dr. Bharu Prakash is there.
Okay.
You sit with him and probably...
This is Raja. I represent two organizations, one Fraunhofer from Japan. I think I had a couple of discussions, especially with Tripathi ji. We always say localization is what is important. I think some of them spoke. So recently we did one social impact award program, 18 to 30. Right now, when I hear about it, so we have a visitor in next 3 months, the managing director of this company from Austria.
Thank you, guys. I'm Suraj Kuncham. I'm a 20-year-old student founder.
Little louder.
Sorry. For rural entrepreneurship specifically. And I heard a lot of good things from Sandeep sir and a lot of others on the dais. Really act as the mediator and provide knowledge as well as access. The rural sector, the primary thing that is missing is awareness and education, right? For anybody who's trying to build, that might be as simple as
help you to make it happen. So with this, now I request.
We have a marketplace model.
Is how do we take REF to the next level?
I'm glad they taught me how to take minutes at the start of my consulting career with state government delegations. And what we've seen, they replicate that and call it the Rural Economic Forum and host it in India. And of inputs that have come in, we had one presentation to that you'll achieve on a yearly and 3-year basis, keep a 3-year horizon and see what will come out of it. They were willing to support, so we will be there again in Delhi to present to him. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity to be here and listen to such good ideas. I think a lot.
This is such an important thing, and he's been supporting. I don't know how many hours of KPMG team is working on this. Nobody is trying to attempt at this thing. It will be too late for India. There's a reason why. Already we are late. We have to go to Honorable Prime Minister. It's a very important at this point of time. There were also some nice suggestions came from audience. So with this, we'll have a group photograph and...
Because he can break any rule. He can break any rule. I love the way you say. Yeah, that is bold. He's very bold.